Greetings, Sentinels fans! Apologies for the 2 weeks absence, life kinda got in the way. But anyways, let's look at the next list of distinguished cards for the Cauldron heroes. We are finishing up the first set, so that means we are getting a look at 6 heroes today. We start with Necro. Necro is weird. As you could probably tell from the name, he's a necromancer, but his thing is not summoning the undead to fight for him. No, he uses the undead as fuel for various rituals. This alone is interesting and weird in multiple ways that I do not have time to go into right now. But the idea is to summon various ghoulies and then kill them in order to unleash powerful spells. I think this is going to be a deck that I'm going to have to deep dive at some point. Necro's distinguished cards are the Book of the Dead and one of his undead dudes. None of the rituals stand out as more important than the others, but the ability to summon them is kinda necessary. Like seriously, I think Necro is probably more prone to breaking than any other character. And the Book of the Dead is great for getting those rituals, whether it's getting some healing or damage. And of course, there are the undead themselves. They are targets, like the Helpers in Unity's or Luminary's deck, except these guys are not your friends. They will attack your heroes at the end of Necro's turn, so you need to offset the attacking undead with rituals you are using. What's more, undead get more hit points for every ritual in play, so to get the best use out of them, you will have to go over some hurdles. And without easy methods of killing the ghoulies, you will need your friend's help to get the rituals rolling, or hope the bad guys help you out there, as they do count as hero targets even if they attack the heroes. Next on the list, we have Quicksilver. While other characters that sport that name focus on the quick part, this one focuses on the silver part. Her distinguished cards are the combos, so let's go with Mercury Strike, the finishers, so let's go with Forested Needles, Stress Hardening, and Mirror Shard. Her main deal seems to be full-on assault, slashing and slicing through the enemies in an unending fury. Her combos deal some damage, and then, off of that card, you can play a finisher, or have her deal herself 2 damage in order to play another combo. On a good turn, you can have her play 3 or 4 cards and completely obliterate the bad guys. The finishers do a bit extra compared to the combos, but of course, they end the combo. Then we have Stress Hardening. No jokes from the peanut gallery, please. Which gives Quicksilver a boost to all of her attacks by 1. But if she is really hurt and has 10 hit points or less, then she gets an additional power boost of 1, so a +2 to all her attacks when she is already hitting dudes over and over. That can really ramp up to ridiculous levels. Then she has the Mirror Shard. When Quicksilver has this out, whenever a hero would deal damage, they may instead redirect that damage to Quicksilver, who will then take that damage and hit a bad guy with the same amount +1. Now, it may not make a lot of sense to do this normally, as the result is a lot of damage to the poor girl. However, if field-wide damage boosts are out, you get a similar effect to Fixer's Crowbars, where the first hit gets boosted, then the second hit gets boosted again. So have someone deal Quicksilver 1 damage. Legacy has Galvanize active, so it is 2 damage to Quicksilver. Quicksilver would send 3, but it gets boosted from Galvanize to 4. Then, if she has a +2 from Stress Hardening, she then is dealing 6 damage after receiving 2 damage. And that's from 1 hit. You can choose to activate the Mirror Shard as many times as your heroes are attacking. And this is completely optional too. You don't need to get her hurt every time, so you can just pick and choose which attacks to redirect. I particularly love redirecting attacks that heroes would otherwise deal to themselves. If Lifeline is going to hit himself, he can instead hit Quicksilver and make use of that damage. Make use of all these cards and Quicksilver is a monster. She will have a lot of issues with staying alive, but she has a few cards for that. Now we will shoot for the stars and look at Starlight. This one I compare a bit to Ride, where she has cards that get used as passive bonuses or as currency for other cards, like Ride's Shadow Cloak. Her distinguished cards are Constellation, Nightlore Armor, Pillars of Creation, and Celestial Aura. Her whole deck runs off the Constellation cards. Now these things by themselves don't do anything. When played, Starlight puts them next to a target on the field, be it a villain, hero, or rando. She can place them on the bad guys so you can hit them with some cards, or on heroes so you can use Celestial Aura to heal them. Yeah, on top of a power that deals damage and lets you draw a card, Aura turns Starlight into a healer. You add in the Nightlore Armor and the heroes become very hard to hurt. As when a hero would be attacked by a villain, Starlight may destroy a constellation in order to prevent that damage. I never imagined stars to be particularly invested in people's survival, but there you go. but she only has 6 constellations. Can she really afford to supernova them all for shields? Well, yes, actually, because she has Pillars of Creation. At the start of her turn, if pillars are in play, Starlight may take a constellation from her hand or her trash and put them right into play. So constellations are easy to get back. Having them around as boosts, heals, and spotlights for damage, or for blowing up to shield people, those things can be very useful. And next we see the Stranger. And is it just me, or does he resemble a character from Homestuck? Anyway, the Stranger is another variation on the Chrono Ranger deal, this time by placing runes on targets to grant various passive effects. His distinguished cards are his runes for the bad guys, so let's go with Mark of Breaking for that, a rune for the good guys, to which my favorite is the Mark of the Twisting Shadow, and a glyph, to which I am torn between the Glyph of Combustion and the Glyph of Decay. The Stranger has quite the collection of runes, and they can either hinder the enemy or help your friends. They are basic effects, nothing complicated, but they can be pretty potent, especially if you get a bunch of runes out. The common thing with all the runes, though, is that at the start of the Stranger's turn, they either blow up, or the Stranger can hit himself for a point of damage. To counter that, he has his glyphs. For each glyph he has in play, of which he has 4 total, he can prevent an instance of damage he deals to himself, allowing him to keep runes out without issue, on top of an extra effect. With Decay, this comes in the form of a power where he deals a point of damage to a target of your choice, and also play a rune with that same effect. With Combustion, when a rune or glyph is destroyed, he deals a point of damage, which makes me want to hop around and see what I want to keep and what I want to use for burning. Next up, we have the Sniper. Tango 1 is a character with a unique style, that being build up for a few turns to unleash a big, powerful hit. Her distinguished cards are Chameleon Armor, Critical Hit, Ghost Reactor, One Shot One Kill, and of course, the Sniper Rifle itself. Let's start with the simple one, the Sniper. This is one of the few cards with 2 powers on it. We have the simple by the numbers deal one target 2 damage. It's the other power that is of interest though. She can discard 2 cards with the critical keyword, and then destroy any one non-character card in play. Any of them. Yeah, this is one of those rare cases where you can destroy any non-character card that can be destroyed, even ones that would normally be inaccessible, like Progeny's Scion cards. Also, being able to bypass hit points or ongoing cards can make this an awesome way to clear away the villain's stuff. The Chameleon Armor is a bit broken, I think, as well as being a bit anti-thematic for her deck, and I avoid using it for that reason. But essentially, whenever Tango 1 would be dealt damage, you can discard the top card of your deck, and if it's a critical card, she prevents that damage. With 15 total critical cards in your deck, this can make her a bit hard to hit. Critical Hit takes the same idea in a different direction. When she attacks someone, you can discard the top card of her deck, and if it's a critical card, add 3 damage to the hit. Oh yeah, she loves stacking up power boosts for her attacks. Ghost Reactor is great for powering her up. By itself, it makes her immune to psychic damage. Fun enough on its own. But it also gives her a power where she draws a card and increases her next instance of damage by 2. And, like Critical Multiplier or Haka Battle, this can stack with multiple uses. You can also stack with her Opportunist and Perfect Flow cards. Also worth noting is that the Ghost Reactor is the only card with a critical keyword that isn't a one-shot. But finally, another one of my favorite ways to end the game. One shot, one kill. This card works kinda like Haka Battle, but a little different. Tango 1 discards as many cards as she wants. Take the amount of cards discarded this way and multiply it by 2. Destroy a target with that many hit points or fewer. And this one includes character cards. So if you get a nice collection of cards, easy enough to do with some of the cards she has, she can blow the villain right off the map. Boom! Target down. And finally, we have Vanish. I will level with you. Teleportation is my favorite superpower. It is so slick, so simple, and yet so useful. Vanish's distinguished cards are Blindside Jump, Focusing Gauntlets, and Flickering Strike. Blindside Jump has the ever-coveted effect of increasing damage dealt to a bad guy. When she hits a target with this power, all damage dealt to that target gets boosted by 1. Always useful when focusing down on a bad guy. Next, the Energy Gauntlet, which simply increases energy damage dealt by Vanish by 1, and the vast majority of her damage is energy, so pretty much all of it gets increased. Now these effects seem fairly run-of-the-mill, but here's where things get fun. The multi-attacks. Vanish is very much a ping kind of damager. She deals a ton of instances of low damage, hence why I spotlighted the gauntlet. Flickering Strike is the epitome of this. as it allows Vanish to draw a few cards and then discard as many cards as the player likes. And for every card discarded, she deals 1 energy damage to bad guys. And of course, as with all ping damage, each instance benefits from the boosts in play. So the total damage is multiplied by the amount of boosts you have. So with her, you feel like you're going boom, 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 striking a bad guy hundreds of times and they just collapse. And that is the remainder of the first set for Cauldron. There are a few left to do, of course, and I hope to see you there. Take care, friends.
I have to interrupt.
What's up?
I forgot to take my meds.
Oh, yeah, do that.
Sorry, are you recording?
I am recording, but I'm also waiting for less rumbling outside.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Peanut.
Yeah, she was, oh my god, you would not believe. I was sitting out there and I was like on my phone, just chilling, and this cat jumped up and she was in my lap. My lap. And like doing a needy thing on my belly. She wants the wet food, that's all it is. She only wants us for our wet food.
There we go.
It's Peanut. It's Peanut. Come on, kitty. Bye, Brian. Love you.
Love you too.